This is the World of Sports Network presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the G to the U to the R to the U. Welcome to another World of Sports Network presentation. And today we'll be talking the 2020 Baltimore Ravens. Yes, flock, Ravens, flock. All right, before we start, I want to discuss the table of contents. Obviously, I got to make sure y'all know what y'all getting yourself into. So we're going to discuss the 2019 recap. After that, we're going to hit the key departures as well as key arrivals. And we're going to identify the draft needs. And I'm going to give you guys a few of the draft targets that I identified that the Ravens will need. Summarize it, and we go like that. How does that sound? Capiche? Cool. Now let's roll the tape. To recap the 2019 Baltimore Ravens record, they were 14-2, which was the best record in all of football. They were a surprise 14-2 record, but they dominated the whole regular season. But as always, it seemed like it's been Lamar Jackson Achilles heel losing in the playoff. The Ravens had home field advantage once again, just like last year. They lost at home versus the Tennessee Titans in the divisional round. So 14-2 record that's a great record for this core. So I look forward to the Ravens. I do still believe in Lamar Jackson. I do think this team stock is ascending. So if you're buying stocks, I will still be buying stocks in the Baltimore Ravens. So let's transition now to the key departures. This 14-2 team, this team is a Super Bowl ready team, Super Bowl built team. They're built for the long haul, so they really didn't have any major significant departure per se of anything that could hamstring them of achieving the ultimate success. But a couple of guys that I'm just going to identify. Hayden Hurst, they traded him. He's a value more departure. They traded him to Atlanta. He was one of the tight end core group they had in Baltimore. I think he's one of the departures. He's a key departure. Tony Jefferson got hurt last year, so the Ravens were able to play without him. So but before the injury, he was definitely a staple. Tony Jefferson's a player. He's definitely a player. He's a locker room staple, so he's definitely going to be more missed in the locker room. But as far as his gameplay, Chuck Clark and Earl Thompson, those guys could definitely make up for Tony Jefferson's loss. So those are who I identify as just the two key losses per se, but I don't think either of those guys are Achilles heels or any of that major impact as far as the Ravens' continual success and ascending success. So with the departure, then you got to have arrivals. You can't have departure arrivals. It just goes hand in hand, man. So major arrival in the D-line. The Ravens were very weak as far as the defensive line. That's not something you're used to, especially a Baltimore organization that's based on defense and based on just being a bully and being big, strong, and fast and athletic, especially in front four. So the addition of Calais Campbell from Jacksonville is huge. They have a mammoth guy in the middle to protect that interior line. He brings massive years of experience in that line and just that toughness. Also, Derek Wolfe. Derek Wolfe coming in for the Broncos, I think adding another rotational guy in the defensive line that was lacking a little bit last year. So it's all an upgrade. So I love those two key arrivals as far as the Ravens offseason. So now let's go to, special one, they re-signed. They had a couple of guys that they re-signed. These guys are not arrivals, they're not departure. They just guys that they will re-sign core guys. They re-signed Andre Smith, the tackle. They re-signed obviously the big off-season guy they needed to make sure they keep in Baltimore was Matthew Judon. They were able to franchise Matthew Judon. Also, long-time Ravens, Jimmy Smith, the corner over there, they were able to bring him back on a cheap veteran deal. So having Jimmy back for the locker room, having him in the locker room would definitely help Baltimore out and have that cohesion. So I definitely like how the Ravens keep their core unit together. And it's the Ravens, man. Eric DeCosta, they have a great GM. You have Jim Harbaugh and company. So it's a well-run organization. So I like what they did as far as keeping core guy and core value guys in-house. So now let's move to the exciting part, the draft needs. The Ravens got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and 2 third-round picks. So I'm going to focus basically on those aspects of the draft needs. And priority-wise, the Ravens need a linebacker. Since they lost C.J. Mosley, they really don't have no replacement for that, so they need a middle linebacker. The Ravens are built on that toughness. They brought in Calais Campbell in the free agency. Now they needed somebody to guide up behind and make tackles. This is a Ray Lewis, C.J. Mosley. They need a big-time linebacker in Baltimore, so that's high priority number one. As far as number two priority, they need an edge rusher. They need a defensive end. The kid they brought in from last year, Ferguson, he didn't live up to, he's not what they thought he was at that particular time. He was a young guy, so hopefully he could develop as the natural pass rusher, but they do need some more pass rushers at the defensive end. And the third need is the interior, the D tackle. Obviously, they brought in Calais Campbell, but they do need to get younger and athletic as far as that interior side of the field. And move on to the fourth overall need, they need a wide receiver. It's an offensive league, man. You have Lamar Jackson, your franchise. You need to possess him with as much weapons as you possibly have, because you are in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. Yes, the homie. So now, as far as draft targets for those needs, linebacker-wise, Murray from OU. This guy fit exactly the mold of a Baltimore Ravens player. He fits the middle line. This is a no-nonsense type of guy. You watch his tape, man. He's a no-attitude type of guy. He brings leadership and core unit, so that he will go bring that youth leadership and that toughness, the toughness of that linebacker that the Ravens always seem to have. So I think that Murray from Oklahoma will be a perfect fit in the first round for the Baltimore Ravens. And as far as the second round, they need an edge rusher. I personally like this kid, man, Terrell Lewis. Terrell Lewis is a local kid from the D.C. area, but he's from Alabama. He played at Alabama. Terrell Lewis is going to bring that edge. They need an extra edge rusher. They need someone to put pressure at the quarterback. So I think he can line up on passing down on third and long situation and him coming up the edge. So look for Terrell Lewis to be some guy to identify in Baltimore as far as helping add some value to a lacking need as far as the defensive end position. And the defensive tackle, they need to add some more beef at that position and go to the South. If you need some beef, you better go to the South, baby. Go to Alabama, this time in Auburn. You look at that, Auburn defensive tackle, Marlon Davidson. I think he's a high guy, high motor, big guy, and he just fits, he can learn under Calais Campbell. He fits that mold. So I think Marlon Davidson is a perfect fit over there in Baltimore as far as a prospect to look at for basically in the third round for defensive to help the interior defensive line. And lastly, wide receiver. I believe obviously they brought in Hollywood Brown last year, so you got the speed guy, you got a guy that can take the top off the field, downfield. So now I think you got to get a big time possession guy, some guys that could make 50-50 ball, some guy that could high point the ball. So that's who. And in this side right here, in this fourth round, I want to identify Chase Claypool. I think Chase Claypool from Notre Dame is one of those guys you want to identify at this time. Also, you want to look at Michael Pittman from USC. So those are the two receivers I think, just big body guys, I think it'll fit perfectly over there in Baltimore as far as enhancing Lamar Jackson's maturation, as far as being an elite and continuing his maturation as far as being an elite quarterback, not only running the ball, but as far as passing the ball. So just to summarize everything, 14-2, there's not much error in that record right there. You don't have that many weaknesses. So now in the offseason, you're just trying to get pieces, key little pieces to get you over the hump. So the Ravens were not looking to have any splashy plays or splashy offseason per se. They just want to maintain. You are 14-2, and they brought in their core guys. Now they just want to add more value. And I believe bringing in guys like Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe, guys like that, and also and then keeping your core guys like Matthew Judon and re-signing Jimmy Smith. Those quality guys, quality locker room guys, we keep the tradition and the culture of Baltimore moving. And with that said, and then obviously the draft, the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best front office. Eric DeCosta, there's one of the best when it comes to drafting and the front office. So there's no question they will do a great job as far as the player personnel, the scouting personnel, and drafting. I have no question with that. That's something we do know for sure. Baltimore knows how to draft. So with that said, I anticipate the Baltimore Ravens will continue to be in position to always be one of the last teams standing. That's how they position themselves. That's how Jim Harbaugh, that's how they're built, and with Lamar Jackson, this team is built for the long haul and they're built for longevity. With that said, like this, love this, share this, and I am out.